Hello, beloved. I really love this series because, yes, the Gospel of John, my favorite, maybe for some of you too. And I love deep things or high things. Never like to stay monotonous. Nothing happens type of normalcy. Hated the complacency, and the Lord by His Spirit, by the power of the blood, always cleanses that complacent parts of my soul that don't care to change, and keeps me always in this change mood. It's beautiful. It's newer all the time, and so it's for you. John chapter 1, still there. We'll eventually go to chapter 2, verse 17 and 18. I really love this, so listen to this. Because the law through the intermediate agency of Moses was given, the aforementioned grace and the truth came through Jesus Christ. Absolute deity in its essence, no one has ever yet seen. God, uniquely begotten, He who is in the bosom of the Father, that one fully explained deity. What? That one fully explained deity. Why would God want to be explained? You see why I like this? Yeah, some help from Wish translation. It's good. Makes a difference. But if Jesus, if the Word that became flesh fully explained it, I can see the intention of the heart of God to be fully explained. So notice it started with the law and Moses. So now if we start thinking of the ways of God, how is He understanding, revealing, if He wants to be explained, then the law has to be at least partially a way of explaining Him. Maybe the law did explain Him. Maybe it showed something about how God is, how He thinks. That's the requirements. It did a partial explanation of His character. But I would say that was just a beginning or a way of trying to explain. I think the fact that Moses was faithful over the house of the Lord as a servant indeed, that had to do with explaining God. somewhere more than the law, it was a person that was to explain him. And Moses did a pretty good job. Remember when God talks to his brother and sister, and he says that Moses is more than a prophet. It doesn't talk to Moses, in a dream or as a prophet would hear, but he talks to Moses as a friend, mouth to mouth. He's just explaining to him with things easy to understand in his language. Very unique situation, because Moses was to explain God to the people, and he did a pretty good job with one exception. One time, you probably remember what happened, but I'll read for you in Numbers 20 verse 12. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, since you did not trust in me to treat me as holy in the sight of the sons of Israel, for that reason you shall not bring this assembly into the land which I have given them. So what happened? The people was very upset, and Moses got irritated, and it says, can God give you water from this rock? They had a previous experience where he hit the rock and came water from that. So here's another experience. They are super upset, no water, and Moses irritated. Can God do this? And then pretty sure of himself, he was walking with the Lord, and he hits the rock once and then hits the rock again, and water comes out. See, it could not have been disobedience. This is not a matter of obedience. And the way God speaks to them, I read to you, you did not trust in me, you didn't treat me as holy in sight of the sons. It's not a matter of you disobeyed my command. It doesn't say that God told him, hey, go and hit it once, or be careful how many times, or it doesn't say that. Yeah. It's not about that. It was about explaining God. Explaining God to the people. Were the people terrible? Disobedient? I mean, wow. How can you have few millions of those? And God has a problem with you, Moses? Look at those people. They are not worthy to go inside the land, not you. You did the best you could. The purpose, what God was doing, the intimacy that he had with Moses, was that Moses would explain God. Remember, he says that the people wanted the works of God, but Moses wanted to know the ways of God. He wanted to know God. And God opened up, and Moses could get in and know him, so he can explain him, show him show him in the sight of others. This was extremely important for God. Can you see that? Not just dealing with people, not just trying to fix this and fix that and get a big church and have a great worship and punish sin and be very strict to yourself and show yourself worthy of all of those work. But the purpose for Moses was to present, to explain God to the others. Can you see yourself with this purpose? How is God in this situation? Not what's your theology, not what you think should be right, not what you think it's wrong and you try not to do it. That's irrelevant. How is your Father? Also remember, God forbade, that was one of the biggest things, I think the first commandment, that people would make an image of himself. They cannot even try to create an image of him. But I thought that he wants to explain himself. Well, because he wanted to explain himself. Because he reserves the right to reveal himself to who he wants. And as he finds people that are his and can explain God to others, then those people will reveal how the Father is. Not an image, not a static image of the yesterday. God was planning that Jesus will be his perfect image. But it was not a picture. It was not a movie. It was not the Jewish man with the beard and beautiful eyes and nice forehead. And no, God revealed himself through Jesus Christ, the living Word of God. See, unfortunately, I think that lots of the Christian denominations, not just the ones that have icons and they put on the wall and people worship the icon of a saint or Jesus, but even other evangelical Christian denominations, they made a God according to their own image. Oh no, you cannot do this, you cannot say that, you have to do this, you have to say that. This is how we explain our God. This is how we describe our God. He does this, he loves like this, he says like this, he punishes like this. That's how they explain. So they almost created an image of their own God. God is a jealous God, not because he cannot suffer competition. No. But he knows that nothing of human origin can explain him, can describe him, not even close with how he himself can describe himself. And that's why Jesus came to fully explain God. I love that. Listen to Hebrews chapter 1, verse 2 and 3. In the last days, these days, he spoke to us in one who is by nature his Son, whom he appointed heir of all things, through whom also he constituted the ages, who, being the outreign of his glory and the exact reproduction of his essence, and sustaining, guiding, and propelling all things by the word of his power, having made purification of sins, sat down on the right hand of the Majesty on high, and said, Father, I explained you fully. Now they can see who you are and how you are. Explaining God. You receive this seed, this divine nature. So the whole heaven and the principalities and the powers can see through the church and through the sons who God is. Don't stop at anything less than that. How do you explain God today?